future timeline predictions for the planet Earth from 2030 to 2040 on this video specifically, but I've already mapped out 2050, 2060, 2070, 2080, 2090, and 2100. And actually, the longer it goes towards 2100, things get crazy. At the end of 2030, the ones in the end of this one is crazy, but I'm also going to show you 2040 because that gets pretty wild as well. Anyway, they're all going to be pretty wild. But again, like always, these are just predictions, not facts. But I want to leave more long-term predictions on this channel so they can be looked back at years down the road to see how accurate these actually were. And this will be a series. So this is part 1 with 2030 to 2040. And if you want to see part 2, which would be 2050 and 2060, make sure to hit the button. And then there'll be 2070 to 2080, etc., etc. Probably 3 or 4 videos until we get to 2100, where I think another huge event's going to happen. But we'll talk about that in the future, so make sure to stay tuned. This one's just 2030 and 2040. So starting with the first one, which I know is already unbelievable, but AI agents free up half the people working on the planet. Half will choose to do jobs and half will have their agents doing work. Next, flying cars become normal in big cities. I know that they're starting now, but give it another 4 years, they'll start to be very common. And this will continue, and we'll talk about that into 2040. But buildings required to grow plants on exterior. This will be really cool, actually, because cities are about to get a lot more green and a lot more kind of eco-friendly. It'll be more beautiful to see cities. 3D printing brings production costs down. Guys, so a lot of these can be positive predictions, and a lot of these will be dark predictions, but they're just mixed together, okay? So like this one will be a positive one because you'll be able to 3D print almost anything in the next couple of years, and later on down the line, even more than anything. And that gets into a whole nother problem with the stock market because you can like reproduce anything. Anyway, we'll get into that. Robot police common in big cities. This is a bad thing because at first and for a while, they're just really badly programmed and are just looking to like extort money rather than like keep people safe. But again, the future's not written in stone. Maybe we can change this. If you're in charge of this, make sure they're out there doing good stuff and not bad stuff, because this could quickly go downhill if these robot police don't have our best interest at heart. You know what I mean? Anyway, but I believe all in all, the future is bright. We're going to talk about that in the next couple of years. Things are going to get better. These things are going to be kind of interesting. AI mega resorts begin for the rich worldwide. So these just like Disneylands for the rich, but in like really weird and crazy places. Basically so expensive to be out of reach for most people until like you start making a lot of money with these new AI tools, and maybe we'll all be able to share these things eventually. But some people won't want to do it. Anyway, I see a new hypertube transport system that's beginning, and this just gets people places nearly 1,000 miles an hour. So it starts to become replaced, like the train systems get replaced because it's a lot cheaper to do it, and they're just like replacing the train lines that already exist. I don't know. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't happen. New element discovered advances computers. This is pretty cool because we, at this point, think that we've discovered most elements, but I believe that we are actually on the cusp of discovering a few more, and one of them specifically by 2030. Let's see if that happens. This one's really cool. Graphene technology explodes. This is huge for batteries and electricity and high strength, technologies or products. It'll be huge once we learn how to actually mass produce this stuff, which we will very, very soon. This will also probably be part of this, but I also see it's something to do with lasers. A lot of the future, guys, is moving into lasers and sound. It's like light and vibration, who would have thought, is like the highest of technology, and we'll use that over and over to advance to like untold speeds and productivity and strengths when we really learn how to do the nanoscopic kind of stuff with lasers and sound. Anyway, but we'll get into that more into the future. And anyway, we'll start scratching it in the 2030s. Internet speeds get faster 10x, which is great because like right now they've gotten pretty shit over the last couple of years. They've kind of like stagnated, but I think we're going to have a leap forward, which is good. This will be interesting for a lot of you guys. And this also is talked about in the further future, but new AI developed psychedelics, which will radically start changing a few things later in the timeline that I'm talking about, but let's see if it happens. Oil price low. Yeah, here we go. Because energy upgrades. Yeah, so a lot of people are going to be moving away from oil because of what's going on. They don't want this to be repeated. They're going to start using more renewables, geothermal, things like that, where we're just not reliant on oil. That's the smart thing to do moving forward. AI TVs lead to user created shows and movies. So your TV can take a picture of you, you can upload a picture, and you can star in your own TV shows or movies, eventually completely prompted by you. You'll be watching like series of movies that you completely made yourself, and you're the star. Or existing old movies where you're the star. So very, very interesting. AI drone networks used to clean up the ocean. This is fantastic. So there'll be a network out there actively cleaning up the ocean and trying to recycle some of the stuff. This, a lot of people are going to be upset with because 1% of the world now has the brain chip, and I'm guessing it's going to be somewhere around 18 to 21 because I don't see kids doing it just yet, but they may or may not be doing it in the future, and that may or may not lead to something else, but we'll talk about that in probably part 2. But for now, just 18 to 21. But they will have advanced capabilities, including full access to AI and automation and the internet without even speaking or lifting a finger. And that, again, that's one of these trends that will continue into the future, but we'll talk about that. And now for some stock market kind of stuff, because I threw in the price of silver hitting before 2030, hitting $40 again. I know some of you guys were looking and hoping that I would say something positive for silver, but in fact, it's probably going to correct for a long, long time and go back down to 40, and gold will probably go down to about 3,000. May or may not, hit those exact numbers. Maybe it's 50, maybe it's 3,500, but I do see it going down for quite a while, but that's not forever. Again, we'll talk about the 2040s because I see them going back up, but they do have to correct. I'm seeing Bitcoin nearly hitting 200,000. My arm's getting tired from holding the camera. So Bitcoin nearly hitting 200,000, which is good news for a lot of people because right now, at the time of making this video, Bitcoin's about 70 something thousand. So if you're looking long term, by 2030, I do see that happening. And we also see vanishing. We also have a huge altcoin season on the way, but not as big as the one that I predict is going to happen by 2040. But this will happen in my prediction. All this stuff will happen in my prediction. I thought I would actually be able to speed through this a lot faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change 2040 to part 2, and just every 10 years I'll do the part 2, part 3, part. All right, so if that makes any sense. So if you want to see part 2, which is 2040 or by 2040, or part 3, 4, 5, whatever, make sure to hit the subscribe button. If you want me to add anything, or if you think I missed anything, let me know in the comments. And let me know what you think about these predictions and maybe what I should do, because I might even do a part 2 for 2030, because there are more stuff. These are like the biggest things. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, comment, see you soon.